Hey, what is going on, everyone? My name is Lepri of Awesemo.com, and in today's video, we'll be breaking down NFL news as well as injury reports for the NFL wildcard weekend. Inside today's video, we'll also be discussing how these news blurbs/injury reports could affect the wildcard DFS slate. But before we could get on into things, I would like to ask, if you are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, to please make sure that you do hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure to hit that like button down below. This video is brought to you guys by Yahoo Fantasy, who we will be talking about a little bit later. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So we begin with Elijah Mitchell, running back of the San Francisco 49ers. Mitchell did not end up practicing on Wednesday, but that appeared to be more cautionary as he was able to get in a limited practice yesterday on Thursday. It seems as though the 49ers are just making sure that Elijah Mitchell does not re-aggravate the injury that he was dealing with late on in the season, resulting in him missing multiple games. The likelihood that he is able to suit up on Sunday up against the Dallas Cowboys does appear to be very high at this point, and the Cowboys' run defense being very middle of the road, ranking 16th in rush DVOA. I know everyone, the kind of thought process is that the Dallas Cowboys have a very good defense as a whole. Their pass defense is excellent. Their rush defense isn't obviously terrible, right? Because it's ranked 16th in rush DVOA. That is right in the middle of the 32 teams in the NFL. But I think with the game plan of the 49ers looking to get the ball into Elijah Mitchell's hands, and when he is playing as the lead back on the team, there is no worry about any other running backs really coming in and stealing the shine of Elijah Mitchell. So this week, up against the Dallas Cowboys, I think you should be very confident in playing Elijah Mitchell, even if he did not end up practicing fully all week. Next up, we move to JuJu Smith-Schuster, wide receiver of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this morning, Ian Rappaport reported that JuJu Smith-Schuster had no issues in practice yesterday, and the belief is that he is actually trending towards playing, which is very shocking because yesterday the reports were that, oh, JuJu Smith-Schuster practiced, but it's kind of an outside shot that he will end up being able to suit up against the Kansas City Chiefs. I was also surprised because we haven't really heard anything about JuJu Smith-Schuster. My assumption was that he probably wasn't going to be playing again in the NFL until next year, but it does seem as though it is entirely possible that JuJu Smith-Schuster does end up playing. If he is able to go in full, like a full workload in terms of playing for the Steelers, then this could severely limit the amount of targets that Ray McCloud ends up getting in this game, because he became a favorite target of quarterback Big Ben Roethlisberger as of recently, receiving over 8 targets in each of the last 3 games. Even if Smith-Schuster is able to return at such a cheap price across DFS platforms, it does still seem very possible that you want to get Ray McCloud into your lineup, because it doesn't seem like Big Ben would just entirely fade him, but getting 8 targets every single week does seem like it may not end up happening this week up against the Chiefs if JuJu Smith-Schuster was to end up playing. Now, again, is it a mortal lock of the century that JuJu Smith-Schuster will suit up this weekend? Of course not, but it is definitely in the cards for the game up against the Chiefs. Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, the next injury blurb to talk about here is Tyreek Hill, wide receiver of the Kansas City Chiefs. Hill practiced in a limited fashion on Thursday. Last week, he ended up getting hurt in pregame prior to facing up against the Denver Broncos. He did end up playing in that game at points in the game, but it was far from the normal Tyreek Hill that you're used to, because he only had a 18.7% snap share in that game, which is far below the normal for Tyreek Hill. I was honestly even surprised that he ended up getting into the game, because all the reports seemed like they wanted to make sure that Tyreek Hill was on ice, that they wanted to make sure that nothing ended up getting re-aggravated, but they did put him in a couple of times. He actually had an opportunity to score in that game. That didn't end up happening, but I do understand that Tyreek Hill burned a lot of people last week. Based upon the reporting, though, it does seem as though Tyreek Hill is a lock to play in this week's game up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The biggest question, though, is how healthy is Tyreek Hill? Will he be in a similar position to last week? Maybe not with 18.7% snap share, but maybe at 40% or 50%, which is not normal for Tyreek Hill. Or will he be put into a situation where he is going to be the normal Tyreek Hill? I think it might be a little bit in the middle. He's not going to have a 18.7% snap share, but he's not going to be up there at 85-90% potentially. But again, this is something to monitor all the way up until game time, as I feel as though maybe later today with some practice reports, we may have a little bit more clarity on Tyreek Hill, as well as closer to lock, we will know just how healthy Tyreek Hill is. Next up, we move to another Kansas City Chief, and that is Clyde Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back of the Kansas City Chiefs. Here is another scenario with the Kansas City Chiefs that we have to monitor up until game time. Edwards-Helaire was able to practice in a limited fashion on Wednesday, but on Thursday he was not able to practice. It is entirely possible that he does practice today and that this was kind of just a scenario where they wanted him to rest yesterday on Thursday, but this could also mean that things went wrong for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and that is why he did not end up practicing on Thursday. If he does play in this game, he will serve as the team's lead back in the game and does have some solid upside, especially late on in the game when they're running the ball, because I expect this to maybe not be a blowout early on in the game, because we all know about the Kansas City Chiefs. They like to, in the playoffs especially, start a little bit slow, but by the end of the game, the other team ended up standing zero chance. That could be what we see here up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, where maybe the Kansas City Chiefs are struggling early on in the game, but by the end of the game, it ends up being a complete and utter blowout, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is seeing a lot of touches late on in the game when they are just running the clock out. If he is not able to suit up, then we are in the situation where Darrell Williams will be stepping into the lead back role on the team. Williams has played quite well in the absence of Edwards-Helaire, and he was able to practice on Thursday despite being on the injury report throughout the week, so Darrell Williams should be good to go in this game up against the Steelers. Clyde Edwards-Helaire's health is up in the air. It didn't seem like things were trending in the right direction, but maybe later tonight on Friday we'll have a little bit more clarity. I will be updating things in the comment section, so if you scroll down into the comment section, I should have some updated news as things end up happening. And then again, make sure you monitor these situations up until game time. Before we pivot into the next injury news blurb to read, I would like to let you guys know that we have partnered with Yahoo Fantasy this NFL season to bring you guys some great offers. Check out our exclusive limited time offer, which gets you guys 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. To qualify, you need to be new to Yahoo, sign up for an account via the link down below, deposit and play. That's it. Yahoo will send us your name after you play in your first paid contest, and we'll reach out to you via email with your coupon. If you would like immediate access, that's okay as well. All you got to do is email support@awesemo.com and we will get you set up immediately. You can also claim a free $10 of site credit by clicking the link in the video description down below, which can be used to enter any Yahoo contest, including Saturday and Sunday's $500,000 NFL baller. Make sure to use our DFS tools and projections designed specifically for Yahoo to give you guys the best shot at winning big. Again, please make sure that you check out Yahoo Fantasy, link down below in the video description. Next up, we move to Miles Sanders, running back of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Sanders did practice in a limited fashion on Thursday. Reports tend to be pointing that he is on track to end up playing in this game up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But if he is not able to suit up in that scenario where he is not able to play, then we should be looking towards Boston Scott to be the lead back on the team. While all season long it appeared that Nick Sirianni almost had some type of fucking love affection to giving Jordan Howard carries, it appeared that at least the last time these two suited up, that Scott was the clear back, having 14 touches for 47 yards as well as 2 scores in that game, as well as getting 4 receptions for 39 yards. In that same game, Jordan Howard up against the Washington football team only had 11 carries for 26 yards, so it does appear that Scott is the lead guy, despite how much Jordan Howard was seeing work earlier on in the season. Next up, we move to Emmanuel Sanders, wide receiver of the No One Circles the Wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Sanders does not have an injury designation this week, going up against the Patriots following a 2-week absence to end his season. In his absence, we saw Gabe Davis step up into Emmanuel Sanders' role. The last time these two teams faced off, that being the Buffalo Bills versus the Patriots, was in week number 16 in a game that Emmanuel Sanders played. In that game, Isaiah McKenzie showed up big time, having 11 receptions on 12 targets for 125 yards, as well as a touchdown in that game. We should expect to see the veteran Emmanuel Sanders return to his role in this offense, but consistency has not been in the cards for Emmanuel Sanders much this season. He did start off relatively well, but after that, things kind of tapered off. Now, we all do know the upside of Emmanuel Sanders in the Buffalo Bills offense, especially if this team is humming at all cylinders. If they're able to pass the ball effectively, Emmanuel Sanders could easily be one of the top performers all week long, or all weekend long, I guess I would say, on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in terms of fantasy football if Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots make them struggle a little bit. Now, obviously, they didn't struggle last time these two teams played as the team. The Buffalo Bills just laid open a can of whoop ass on the Patriots. Maybe things go a little bit different this time time, Emmanuel Sanders is far from a wide receiver that I'm very confident in, but I certainly do understand the upside and the reason why you may want to throw him into your DFS lineups. Next up, we move to Higgins, wide receiver of the Cincinnati Bengals. There have been worries about Higgins' availability earlier on in the week after reports of him being limited in practice. Right now, we do have assurance that he will end up suiting up in this game. As Zach Taylor stated, he will be active to face the Las Vegas Raiders on Saturday. Despite Jamar Chase having a fantastic rookie season, this offense and Joe Burrow spreads the ball out enough for Higgins to have had a fantastic season as well. This week, we really could see a tit-for-tat back-and-forth game between them and the Las Vegas Raiders, and if that does end up being the narrative where this is a very high-scoring game, I do expect T. Higgins to put up some solid numbers in this matchup. And final injury blurb to talk about here is Chase Edmonds, running back of the Arizona Cardinals. Edmonds should be good to go, as he stated himself that he will be playing on Monday Night Football up against the LA Rams. His teammate James Conner is currently listed as a game-time decision. Given this game is on Monday, it is entirely possible that both of them are able to play in this game. He was not seen at practice today on Friday, which would point towards the fact that maybe he ends up missing. But again, I'm going to go ahead and wait till further clarification on Monday, because the game being on Monday does make it a little bit easier for James Conner to be able to suit up in this game, especially since it's the playoffs and this isn't some cupcake pushover matchup up against the LA Rams. This is going to be a very tough task for the Arizona Cardinals. If he was to miss the game, then Chase Edmonds is in the perfect situation to succeed. If he is able to go and both of them end up suiting up in that game, both being Chase Edmonds and James Conner, then it is going to be kind of a little bit tough to really discern who the lead running back is going to be. Now, they have not really played together since the middle of December up against the Lions. In that game, James Conner performed as the better back, but it's not by some crazy wide margin, right? He was just slightly better than Chase Edmonds in that game. With that said, though, Chase Edmonds has not looked like the better back when compared to James Conner all season long. So if both of them do end up playing, I would expect James Conner to see more touches, but this is no smash where James Conner sees far more touches than Chase Edmonds. But I do think at the end of the day, when you look at the stat sheet, that James Conner will be the lead back. If that is the case, again, assuming that he is good to go, but the fact that they didn't see him on practice today is a little bit concerning for me. So thank you guys all for watching today's video. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure to hit that like button as well as that subscribe button down below. I would appreciate it a ton. I love each and every one of you guys, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, please do so at NotoriousFNTSY. I hope you have a great rest of your guys' day, and as always, good boy.